Yes, here we all are for week 14 of the NFL season. And yes, you are not seeing things once again. It is a game on, empty the bench crossover. And you know why we're doing one of these again? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, people have said to me that they like this. Number two, our schedules. And number three, I know Nick, Tom, and Nick just like hearing who's calling the games. So I said, you know what, come join us and we'll do it.
Also, no more 3-hour shows.
I was gonna say it didn't help that ETV this week was nearly just like an hour and 50 minutes long, and that was without a rapid rundown. Hey, MMA Outsiders just set the new network record, I think.
Wait, I didn't hear this. How long was it?
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh!
So go check that out, folks, after you watch us here. We will not go 2 hours, I promise you that. But what we will do is give you our picks against the spread for Week 14 in the NFL. And guys, there's only five more football Fridays to do the full slate of games. It's absolutely incredible before we get into the postseason. Yeah, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. I mean, it's a few weeks till Christmas. You know, we was talking about it on Thursday night on my Monty Moment, how the college football playoffs all set in stone already. So it goes by quicker and quicker every single year. But I'll tell you what, for Hank and myself, we're trying to build some momentum because we had a very good week last week. Hank went 10-5 against the spread, and I went 9-6. So Hank trails me by just 3 games as we are trying to be like the NFC South, and we are trying to get out of the under 500 range. But I don't want to be that we get to 500 and then go right back downhill like the Buccaneers. But we will see.
Johnny, I'm coming for you. You better watch out.
Absolutely. Well, Hank,
wait a minute. You better watch out. You better not cry. It's perfect for the holidays.
Absolutely.
The Hankster is coming to town.
And you know what?
You will lose.
And I say that, folks, not knowing Hank's picks before we start. So that's what's going to be fun. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that Hank and I might be different in a few games this week. That's what I will say. But we'll find out. So you guys ready to do this thing?
Yes. Hey! And I will note for the ETV record. So last week I went 8-5-2. Both Knicks went 7-5-3 with our picks of predicting a winner and picking against the spread. In terms of points, because we always do 1 point for the winner, 1 point for the spread, and a bonus point for the lock. I got 10 points. Fodera got 9. Morgasen got 8.5. I currently lead with a 108.5 for the season. Morgasen just behind at 106.5. And Fodera right behind him with 104.5. So it's pretty neck and neck.
Nice.
Damn you, Jets. Damn you.
Yeah, your week 13 cost you. Your week 13 cost you the lead to me. Or week 12, rather.
Oh, Nick, 2 weeks in a row with the Jets. I'm going to understand why it's frustrating, not just the game last week. But speaking of those Jets, Nick Morgasen, let's start with you. We get it rolling for week 14 here in the NFL. Nick, it's a Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson special there on the NFL on CBS as your New York Football Jets take on Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills. And the Bills are a 10-point favorite.
And by the way, no more upsets. Bills cover. That's all I have to say.
Wow. Okay, then I don't even know how to follow that up. Tom, go for it.
Okay. Wow, I have to follow this one up. I still think, their defense is still incredible. And honestly, we have seen the Buffalo offense within the last month kind of have its flaws, kind of have its bad games. Obviously, Josh Allen, still tremendous talent. The Allen to Diggs combo will always be there. I just don't know that. Like we actually mentioned a few weeks ago, Nick Morgasen, and you said it yourself. The Jets have a high-level defense.
I said they had a Super Bowl caliber
exactly.
defense.
That if the offense actually matched them, the Jets could be an AFC Championship Super Bowl contending team, but they don't have the offense for it. You're right that the Bills are definitely going to win this, but I think the defense might make this a little tough on that 10-point spread. I'm going to go Bills. I'm going to say no cover.
By the way, I'll say one thing because I know that was a very short response that you were expecting from me. I'm very frustrated by the offense from last week. How many times were they in the red zone? 7 or 8 times and they didn't convert? You have to convert when you're in the red zone. If you don't, you're not going to win games. And Barrios dropped the ball in the end zone to put a cherry on top.
And yet that offense is still producing better under Mike White than it is under Zach Wilson, I have to admit.
Okay, as Nick would say, that's a low bar to clear.
All right, Nick Fodera, what do you say?
Well, seeing as how last week's performance really didn't endear me to the Mike White experiment, because I'm not going to call it the experience, because experiences tend to be memorable. So, seeing as how the Jets' offense was about as effective and let's just say it's about as effective as a dildo made out of Jello, and really,
and it's already begun.
You cannot have an offense in which the conversion rate is worse than Canadian money. You can't have it. You cannot succeed if this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. If this is what you are going to do as soon as you get within the 20-yard line. So therefore, you know what? I'm taking the Bills.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did that just happen?
Yeah. Well, I think we're recording right now. Yeah, we are.
Hold on.
Come on, guys. Wasn't that funny?
Okay, continue. Ugh.
I'm taking the Bills to cover. Take the money.
He's taking the Bills minus the 10. Hank?
Even though I've been high on the Bills trade for pretty much all season, I don't know that I like the idea of giving them a 10 points, making them favorites by 10 points against the division rival who, one, already beat them earlier in the year, and number two, has what you guys would describe as a Super Bowl caliber defense, which I don't think is necessarily a stretch, by the way. Give me the Jets to cover, but I still think the Bills will win.
Wow.
I think this is too many points when I look at it because I think this is going to be a defensive kind of game. So a 10-point spread in a defensive kind of game is, that's a lot. When you look at it, I think both teams' pass protection is not that great. I think Mike White's going to be better than last week. I don't think he's going to be like what he was 2 weeks ago against the Bears, but he's also the X factor in this one. That's what I'm thinking about. And also the Von Miller injury, we'll see how significant that is now for the Bills. I mean, it's been a few weeks now. Now we know he's officially out for the season with now what is being discovered as a torn ACL. But I also think the revenge factor is big here. It's only been a few weeks since these two last met down there at MetLife. So I think I'm agreeing with the majority here. I'm going to take the Jets plus the 10. I think the Bills win. I think the Jets keep it close. And I think it all comes down to Mike White. That's ultimately who I think is the X factor in this game. And also can't be throwing the ball 57 times. I don't care who it is that's under center. Anytime you throw the ball 57 times, you're more likely than not going to win the football game. But
I mean, how much time did you spend in the red zone? I'll keep asking that.
Hey, the 3-point zone. I know that all too well in years past, Nick. Absolutely.
By the way, Greg the Leg is definitely a good kicker. Tom was saying that over the last couple of weeks.
The absolutely legendary kicker.
I mean, he saved the game. He practically kept them in the game on his own leg.
Yeah. So it looks like it's going to be 3 out of 5 with the Jets plus the 10. No full upset special in game number 1. Tom, it's a Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, AJ Ross special on CBS. It's the Battle of Ohio, the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals laying 5.5.
So this one's interesting because the last time we saw these two teams, we actually, Empty the Bench was doing a Monday Night Football Halloween stream. And the Browns kind of routed the Bengals. But that was the Browns with Jacoby Brissett at center. Now you've got Deshaun Watson, who... Gentlemen, I don't know if you saw the performance last week. I give it a this. We saw some flashes, but it's pretty clear, and it's kind of obvious that after about 2 years away, there was going to be rust.
I mean, did you see in that game it took them forever to have an offensive score in that game? How long did it take them?
3 quarters, I think.
3 quarters to put offensive points up. Most of those were defensive points.
Special teams, yeah.
Just think about that. Now, that was a very scary stream because the Browns, or who was it? Who put up like 30 points in the first half?
Yeah.
The Browns put up like 30 points in the first half, and it wasn't even a game going into the second half.
And that's my fear. It's like if they did that with Brissett, what could happen now with Watson under center? I mean, granted, the Bengals, I think, are still the best team in the AFC North, and they have the home field here. I just don't know. I just don't know if you can really trust the Bengals. For me to say that, I know, I know. Here come the jokes about disrespecting and not disrespecting the Bengals. In this one, I just don't know if I can put a lot of my faith into the Bengals, especially when Jamar Chase is still a little shaky coming off of that injured hip. I'm going to go upset. I'm going to go with Cleveland.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Upset special for Tom. Wow.
Upset
All right.
special.
Yeah. So let's give you some fun facts here, and I'm going to give a hat tip to the guys over there at ESPN on NFL Live on Thursday. Joe Burrow in his career against the Bengals, 0-4 record, 7 turnovers, 17 sacks.
Do you mean the Browns, Johnny?
Career. Did I say? I'm sorry. Let's try this again. Joe Burrow, 0-4 record against the Browns, 7 turnovers, 17 sacks.
And that's my fear. And that's my fear with Burrow's lack of success because of those stats, plus the fact that, last week showed that this Cleveland defense, which for the last couple of years has had some great defensive play and great special teams play, it can still shine. And I feel like it could potentially show up, at least to the point where even if the Bengals win, I think that 5.5 might even be too much.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this though. You know what you do with those numbers that I have on my paper right here?
Oh.
Throw it away. Because you know what? Here's what I would say. Deshaun Watson, they might have actually had a downgrade at quarterback from the last time they were Jacoby Brissett because, Watson had not played in over 700 games. He's now, again, on the road, at this time in a very hostile environment there in Cincinnati. I think they maybe are getting them at a good time. So I am going to take the Bengals minus the 5.5 to win and cover in game number 2.
Yeah, I'm with Johnny here. I don't like the whole quarterback situation. I've been very adamant about the whole situation with Deshaun Watson and how basically a certain lawyer, which I won't say the name of, made a whole public spectacle at the stadium over just bringing the accusers to the stadium. But he didn't look good. He just looked slow throwing the football on delay. Almost. He wasn't hitting his targets. He wasn't doing what he needed to. I just think the Bengals are better. I like Burrow, but that record shocked me, by the way, against the Browns. He's better against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs than he is against the Browns. I think he's undefeated.
Football is
Isn't
weird
that
like that
amazing,
sometimes.
Susan?
Exactly.
That's football, yeah.
But I'm going to be one of those guys like Nick who is biased against the Astros and just will always pick them to lose everything. So I hate Deshaun Watson. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Bengals to cover.
Yeah, I cannot in good conscience pick the Browns. And as a matter of fact, to piggyback on what you said, Tom and I, as in Scavetta, on our episode of Review and Preview last night, we had Deshaun Watson as one of our duds. What does that tell you? Give me the Bengals, and as a matter of fact, not for nothing, but Joe Burrow not only was on our studs, I even brought up that you could even make the case that he's an MVP candidate. Not saying he should win it outright, but he's definitely somebody that should be in the conversation.
Hmm.
And I stand by that opinion.
Very good. Nick?
So I really don't think that you can get by in this game, in this particular matchup, with a preponderance of meh. And there is a preponderance of meh in this game. The play of Deshaun Watson, personal issues aside, I know it's hard to divorce his personal issues from Deshaun, the football player, but you must in these situations. And what I've seen really hasn't impressed me. And a midseason Joe Burrow, I think, is still going to be able to overcome what is essentially early season Deshaun Watson. So I'm going to take the money.
There you go. Looks like it's a clean sweep all the way around in game number 2. Nick Fodera, it's a Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, Laura Oakman special on the NFL on Fox. We just came off a Battle of Ohio. Now we have a Battle of Texas. It's the Houston Texans, Davis Mills back under center for Houston, taking on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys, with the biggest line of the year so far, a 17.5-point home favorite.
What the f***?
Well, I think that's going to happen when you route the Colts 51. What was it? 51 to 19.
No, it was 54 to 19.
19
Wait a minute. We discovered this on ETB the other night. It's a scoregami.
That is a scoregami. Yep.
Nick's so choked up about it.
Yeah.
No, it's just all these figures are making me choke, and I mean, when you have to look at Jerry, all you do is just choke. But still, I mean,
Well, Nick, look on the bright side. At least you're not leading 28-3.
good point. But still, I mean, looking at what we have here, I am a little skittish about that line, even though the Texans really have just been an absolute dumpster fire, wrapped in a catastrophe, wrapped in a shit show. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'll still take the Cowboys, but I think that line is going to be maybe 14.
I mean, it is 3 touchdowns.
It's a 3 possessions line.
Two touchdowns and a field goal. Well, actually, no, that's only 17 points. Yeah, you'd have to get another touchdown. You're right.
That's crazy. Have we seen a line like that in the NFL?
Nope.
Not this season,
this year.
no. The biggest one before was actually when the 5 of us were on a couple of weeks ago, and we had the Chiefs laying 14.5 against the Rams.
Little do most people in the NFL know you actually can score a half point if Dak can actually hit somebody in the stands with the football.
Oh, my God.
So Nick's going to take the Texans plus 17.5. Nick Morgasen, what do you think?
I mean, the Texans are bad. This is documented. We know. I mean, I think Davis Mills is actually starting again this week.
That is correct. Yeah, he's back under center for Houston.
It's like quarterback roulette over there. Just throw a dart against the wall and see who's going to start.
Yeah.
Or pull the handlebar, like Johnny. You know what game show?
Russian roulette. That's right.
Wheel of starters.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the Texans are bad, but are they 3 touchdowns recovery bad? I don't know. That's a large line. I think that the Cowboys are win. I think we can all say the 5 of us are going to say the Cowboys are going to win. But I'm actually with Nick on this one. That's rare that I agree with anything Nick says. But yes, I'm going plus 17.5 here.
So, all right, Tom?
I mean, like I said, this is what's going to happen after a performance like Dallas had. And they're going up against another very weak team, which is good for them considering the tight race that we have going on with the NFC wildcard. But it's not every day that happens. And despite what I said about Cleveland last game, to be fair, the Texans in the fourth quarter did manage to take a couple of touchdowns. So you can't really say that, I mean, I'm trying all I can. I'm just saying that I'm too afraid. I'm way too afraid of that 17.5. Is it doable against a team like the Texans? Absolutely. However, that is a line, that's like you said, 3 touchdowns. I don't know if I can do it. I Cowboys are winning, but I don't know if I want to take that line. I'm going to say no.
Right,
actually, wait a minute, Hank. I'll break out something for you that I broke out in last show. You know what I think? You know what I think of this line?
Wow.
Oh, was that the Owen Wilson? Wow.
Yes.
Mine's a little more dramatic.
Wow.
More like, wow. You know what? No, I'm not even going to take. I was going to try to see if I can fool you guys into the no. I'm not even going to go into an explanation. You guys know I'm taking the Cowboys. Enough said.
Wait, cover or no?
Yep, Cowboys are not only covering, they are going to destroy the Texans.
Oh man.
Oh, I was going to say, I was hoping you weren't going to leave that up to me to do that.
No, that come on.
You know what's crazy? I mean, there's not much to really break down in this game, but I'll say this: this is almost kind of fortunate for the Cowboys in that they get a second straight week to try and fix their passing attack and passing defense woes. And just, I mean, if you have to look at some numbers, Cowboys are averaging almost 40 points a game over the last 5, and the Texans are averaging 15.7 all year. I mean, the line's huge, but so is the mismatch. I'm not worried about this. I'm taking Dallas to win and cover 41-17, let's say. Cowboys win and cover. But the 3 of you guys over on Empty the Bench make it very – I think they're the only way you could see this, maybe them covering garbage time touchdown, that backdoor cover in the fourth quarter, which is certainly a possibility too. But I am not going to go for it. These lines are like this for a reason. The only fun part about the Texans is going to be which quarterback are they going to draft with the first overall pick in next year's draft. That's the next fun thing for the Texans. So it's a clean 3-2, but we're pretty much all taking the Cowboys to win down there in Dallas. It's a Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Shannon Spake special on the NFL on Fox. This is one of my favorite games of the week. It's the 10-2 Minnesota Vikings taking on the resurgent Detroit Lions, and it's the Lions who are laying 2 points in this one. And I'm going to go first here because this one is a very interesting line. You look at the Lions; they have gone from underdog to favorites, despite. It's funny because last week we talked about them being a home dog to the Jaguars. This week they're a home favorite against the Vikings. But this line makes sense to me when you look at it because the Lions' pass offense, you look at their defense, they're playing with incredible energy. And Jared Goff actually plays great against defenses like the Vikings. So I think that's very favorable. I think you have one of the best connections in all of football over these last few weeks. Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brown in his last 4 games, 31 catches, 3 touchdowns. And also big picture here for the Detroit Lions. You know what? You look at the NFC playoff picture, guys. It's right there for the Lions, given their schedule and how they're playing versus their opponent's schedule and the uncertainty of their opponents. I think it continues here. Give me the Lions to win it and cover at Ford Field. Hank?
Oh, you're taking the Lions to win? Oh, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. I like where you're going. I think the Lions will definitely make this a game for sure. I mean, you pretty much know, as if I didn't have to say it enough, that I'm a Dan Campbell fanboy, even if I don't like a lot of the play calls he makes. I mean, look, it helps that he's a Giant legend. But I don't know. I don't know that I can trust them against the Minnesota Vikings. Give me the Vikes.
Tom?
Should mention, I was trying to mention before we got into it, but we've got playoff scenario here too. If the Vikings are victorious, they clinch the division. That's it. The Lions need to win out to have a shot at the Vikings not winning the division. A Viking win over these next 5 weeks or a Lion loss, and that is it. So we could see a division clinch this week. And for all that Johnny has said about the Lions, and Johnny is absolutely right. However, Kirk Cousins, for all the crap that we give him and all the crap we give him about, not playing in prime time, he does know how to deliver.
He won one. He won one.
He did win one on Thanksgiving. And more importantly, Justin Jefferson needs to be Offensive Player of the Year. When the NFL awards come around, he must be the Offensive Player of the Year because he has just been playing out of his absolute mind. He is slowly building a legacy for himself over his first few seasons in the National Football League. He is the heart and soul behind this team right now. And you know what? Give me it. Give me the Vikings to clinch the NFC North in this matchup. And you know what? Screw it. I'm going to let my Viking fandom, well, obviously I'm a Giants fan, but I always have that vested interest in the Vikings because of my father, and I'm going to let it take over. Lock it in.
Oh, wow. Didn't see that one coming.
Since you've been praising Justin Jefferson, why don't you do the gritty while you're at it?
By the way,
students too, so.
Wow.
By the way, I'm going to steal another reference as well. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. By the way, since we're talking dodgeball over here, but I will say that the Vikings are going to dodge a wrench and dodge a ball. So yes, the Vikings will win this game. Vegas has been taking some drinking down in those casinos lately because they've been making some of these odd lines coming out of Vegas. And I don't understand this one. There's nothing that tells me the Lions are going to win this game. Nothing.
Oh, okay. Let me play devil's advocate. Which team has recently, the last few weeks, has played better defensively?
Which one has made more mistakes at the coaching position?
I understand that, but look at the rosters. If you look at the last couple of weeks, the Lions are better defensively. And remember, for the talk of the Vikings, and now, Grant, I'm not going to take anything away from the record. They're 10-2. What's the Vikings plus?
That one I agree with you on. That their plus minus differential is all messed up. But at the same time, I'm going to take Justin Jefferson all day, all night over Amon-Ra St. Brown, even though Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be the player of the future for many years to come. And the Lions better do everything in their power to keep him in the organization, or they're just a messed up organization. And Dan Campbell should lose his job if he lets him walk. But yeah, I'm taking the Vikings. They're the better team. But I understand. The pass rush is the biggest issue. I understand. Trust me, I know from last week.
Yep.
And granted, the Lions are doing good, but that -2 line, it's like you said, Johnny, it's kind of perfect, but it's perfect to the point where they're going to need a 1-point victory, the Vikings, for a Vikings win to basically not be a cover. And
They're begging you. They're begging you to take the Vikings with this line.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because that's where I was going at. You guys are, I think, falling. Well, first off, we haven't gotten to Nick Fodera, but I think you guys are all falling into the Vegas trap in this one. They are begging you to take Minnesota in this one, so that's why I'm going the other way.
And what's funny is, Johnny, there is another game on here where I feel kind of the same. I was tempted to use my lock on, and it's it sounds like such an easy game. But
oh no, I see which one you probably were going to do it on.
Yeah, and we're going to get there. Nick Fodera, what do you have in this one?
See, I don't know, I know I've discussed this guy with you a couple times, but I have the same connection to the Vikings that Tom has. My father's a big fan, and my daddy would slap me if I was picking against the Vikings this year. I was picking against the Vikings, especially against the Lions, because he hates the goddamn Lions. So, you know what their strength in, Tom?
Numbers.
Oh, come on.
I think that's both times we've joined you guys for this crossover where me and Fodera go the same lock.
Not me. I have a different one.
And I think it's going to be the other one that I was thinking of.
So I guess I'm the lone wolf in this game?
Probably,
yeah. You are lone wolf in this, as they would say.
Well, that's happened once before. Well, I'll just say this. That's happened once before, and I know who came out victorious in that one. That was me. But we'll see. This is one of the more entertaining games of the week, and I'll be locked into it at my favorite place come Sunday. So 1-4, outnumbered. Listen, it won't be the last time. It won't be the last, but we'll see what happens there. But
that was me with the Jets against the Bears. Remember?
I still can't believe that, but but you know what though? This league is so weird this year. We've known that. I mean, it could be a 30-point Vikings win, because you know what? That's the NFL in 2022. But I'm going to take the Lions. Everybody else is going to go with the Vikings in Detroit. Hank, it's Joe Davis, Daryl Moose Johnston, and Pam Oliver on the NFL on Fox. It's a huge NFC East matchup, it's an NFC East matchup. Nevertheless, it is the Philadelphia Eagles and our New York Football Giants over at MetLife Stadium, and it's the Eagles who are laying a touchdown on the road.
You want me to start off with this?
Yeah, we'll put the Giant fans first here.
Actually, sorry to interrupt, but we have a playoff scenario in this one too. Philadelphia, they don't clinch the division, but they can clinch a playoff berth with a win or a tie, or if both San Francisco and Seattle lose their games, which we'll get to later.
Okay. So a couple weeks ago, I saw this as one of the most likely games for the Eagles to lose. And you know what? Screw it. Upset special.
Oh!
Let's go, you know Big Blue.
And I'll tell you right now, though,
I'm probably going to regret this later on, and I can't believe I'm doing this, but a 7-point favorite is too high. I don't care what the Giants' injury situation is. The Eagles, I just have a weird feeling. The Eagles are due to lose. You guys can tell me that I'm on crack or whatever, all you want, but that's just how I'm feeling.
No, that's usually Nick's job.
No, I don't think you're on crack. I just think your stones are big enough to sink to the bottom of the river.
I don't think Hank's crazy either, and I'll tell you, I would have been more comfortable
right across the street from the stadium.
Exactly, but nobody wants to lose stones in there.
You know, Hank's not that crazy, and I'll tell you, and Nick will test this too. I've been waiting for this line to go up to 7.5. Would make it a lot more comfortable, or let it go down a half point to 6.5, and that also will make it more comfortable. Look, you know, I'm a Giant fan too, but this is not a good matchup for Big Blue. I mean, their offensive line we've seen it now. It's been losing matchups weekly. Saquon Barkley is no longer breaking big plays, and in fact, as of Thursday, he was put on the injury report with a neck issue. And you know, Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, they're both doing incredible work. But if those are your number 1 and number 2 receivers, it's not good. And unfortunately, I think some former Giants here are going to have big games. James Bradbury, Darius Slay, Daniel Jones is going to be scrambling again for this point. Not a good matchup. And again, this would be almost more comfortable if it was down to 6.5. but guys, the Eagles are too good, and I think they get this one done here. Again, it's not this, and I will just preface it by saying this. This is not the end of the world that the Giants lose this game, but what it's going to force them to do is they're going to have to go to Washington on Sunday Night Football in Week 15 and win, and get at least another win after that. I think 9-7-1 is favorable for them. That tie was not the worst thing in the world for them last week against the Commanders, but it's not a favorable spot here. Give me Philadelphia to win and cover at MetLife. Tom?
I was going to add, where you talked about getting that 9th win. New Year's Day, Week 17 against the Colts. That becomes must win as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'll say this: I still don't think that the Vikings is crazy to say this too, given their pass defense woes. And the other thing too is if Philadelphia's already clinched everything by Week 18, who's going to? I mean, they're not going. Jalen Hurts is going to play what? Maybe a half in that one. They could get something out of that in Week 18 too. So it's not the craziest thing in the world here, and this is not favorable, but it's going to force them down the road here. That's what I would say.
I mean, you could say that the other way too. About if the Vikings lost this week, the Eagles won this week, to the point where maybe the week after Week 15, the Eagles win again, the Vikings lose again, that the Eagles can clinch the number 1 seed. Because I think, but that's going to be a little bit of a stretch. I don't think number 1 seed is going to be clinched, which means the Vikings are going to come out with all their strength Christmas Eve in Week 16 against the Giants. So that's why I agree with Johnny, and I think I kind of referenced it in a little pre-show meeting with Nick, and Hank here, that basically Week 15 on Sunday Night Football is a must-win against the Commanders. Week 17, especially against the Colts, is a very much a must-win. As far as this matchup goes, I'm with you, Johnny, but it's not a matter of the Giants and their injuries report and the lack of wide receiver star power. I mean, you're preaching to the choir. We've been talking about this for a few weeks now.
Yeah, we know that.
But it's also the Philadelphia Eagles. It's sinful to say as a Giants fan, but they are one of, if not the best team in the NFL right now. That Jalen Hurts to AJ Brown connection is everything. It has lived up to the hype in the preseason. Jalen Hurts is really developing into an excellent quarterback. Good run game. Pretty decent when it comes to their lines. Yeah, take the money on this one, Eagles. It would be much beneficial to the Giants for a win like Hank is hoping for, because you're right, the Eagles should maybe at some point be due to lose. Then, the Giants, it would be really beneficial for their situation for clinching a wild card spot. I just think the Eagles are too good.
I can't help but feel responsible if the Giants somehow lose this game. I've been saying that for the past decade plus.
Oh, it's all good. Nick Fodera, go for it.
Well, I'm of the opinion I'm a minority in this group of in this quintet, but remember last year they were sub 500, so they really shouldn't even have been in this spot. So at this point, everything is gravy. So look, I know it hurts when they lose, especially games that they should have won.
And we were so close to the
and are so close to winning, but it's like the talent discrepancy that's going to be on display here is just going to be staggering. And people say, "Oh, the talent discrepancy, sometimes you can make up for it." That you're not going to be able to make up for it. So I'm going to have to take the money.
Well, I guess that leaves it to me, the one Jet fan in this room out of all the other Giant fans.
Well, to do with it, but go for it.
No, I'm just saying I'm outnumbered, as you were talking about being outnumbered before in picks. Well, Jalen Hurts is way better than Daniel Jones. That's not even me being biased whatsoever. Jalen Hurts is way better than Daniel Jones on the field numbers wise.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, also, Saquon does not look like himself the last couple of weeks. He looks really either hurt or the mileage is catching up to him after he got off to a really good start.
Well, or Nick, or that simply that the other teams now know the Giants are looking to.
It's a running attack,
and now they're gonna force Daniel Jones to throw.
Also, I don't like that they don't have any wide receivers. That's a problem against the Eagles. The Eagles are
To
full.
quote something that my distinguished Big Blue Avenue co-host has said once during a Notre Dame rant, and something that I've said many a time on Game On, or to paraphrase that, actually, all can be true. All can be true.
Yes, but This is actually my lock. I'm taking the Eagles and the -7.
Okay, it wasn't what I was thinking.
Did you think I would wait a minute? Did you think I was going to take Chiefs Broncos?
Yeah, that was the other game I was thinking of.
Oh, come on. That's too easy.
Oof, you three, you're going with very bold locks this week. I like it. And I'll tell you what, Vegas also, I mean, Nick, I know I don't like to talk about Vegas, but they're so sneaky this week because 6.5 or 7.5, it could be either a lot easier or a lot different talk in this segment if it's that. But right at 7, it's just so tricky. And just going back to Saquon for just a second, the last 3 weeks, guys, he's run up against some very good defenses. Again, people don't give the Lions enough credit about how good they are defensively. They've had that. Washington last week was not a favorable matchup either. So, and who they had in between was also not favorable. But we'll see. And now he was limited on Thursday. He was limited in practice, so something to watch there too. But we'll find out there at MetLife Stadium on Sunday. It's a Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, Melanie Collins special on CBS. Nick Morgasen, it's the Baltimore Ravens with Tyler Huntley taking on Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers from Aquashore Stadium. Yes, that's why I went to you first, so I can get Aquashore Stadium out of the way. And the Ravens are getting 2 points in this one.
Yeah, and actually, believe it or not, I'm not surprised by this line because, again, it's going to be, Tyler Huntley?
Yes.
And not Lamar Jackson, who's hurt, and now everyone is questioning whether he's going to get that large guaranteed contract at the end of the year because he can't stay healthy. And I've always had worries about quarterbacks who are run first. I don't understand it. You're risking your money by doing that. We've also had issues with the Ravens all season. They're a very up and down team. You don't know whether they're going to put up 30, 35 points or they're going to put up 3 points. You don't know.
Nick, the Ravens can be anything. They could even be a mystery box.
It could be a boat. Yeah, Steelers cover. Take the money.
Tom?
This one's tough because, the Ravens should be the better team, but if Lamar Jackson is playing, this one's, the favorites is the other way.
We're not even talking about this game if he's playing.
Right. We're not even talking about it. And, we talk about how banged up Lamar Jackson is that Tyler Huntley is playing. Kenny Pickett, we've seen him go out of games a couple of times into a concussion protocol that we've had to see Mitch Trubisky take center. So who's not to say that doesn't happen? And then all of a sudden we got a backup versus backup battle. And the Steelers offense is just so blah. It's just so blah with their new scheme, and that, Najee Harris isn't as explosive as he was last season. Deontay Johnson's still very talented, but maybe you could say young developing quarterback, but there's still just, I don't know, there's something that's missing there. But the problem is, and we saw it a couple of weeks ago, the Ravens just don't know how to hold a lead. That their defense, now that their old defensive coordinator is up here in New York, Frank Martindale, the defense is not the same. And the Ravens almost lost to the Broncos, if not for one play. We will. Well, I'm trying to resist not going on about it, but the Broncos game is not for another couple of games on this list. So
it's coming.
It is coming. So with that in mind, I don't know if I can, in good faith, take the Ravens. So you know what? I will take the money as well, and I will go with the Steelers.
Well, Tom, you were a little hesitant with that one.
I'm not a fan of this game. In fact, if there was a way I could just say neither and stay far away. Do not bet this game. This would be it.
We do that from time to time. We'll say, hey, we pick all the games, but we'll say, hey, stay away from this one.
Okay, and this is one where I say stay far away. Do not touch this with since it's Christmas time, as they say in the Grinch song, a 39.5-foot pole.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? I'll tell you right now, if Lamar Jackson was playing in this game, I'd still take the Steelers laying the points. Well, they probably wouldn't be laying points. It'd probably be close. Maybe it'd probably be the Ravens laying 2. But I like Pittsburgh in this one a lot. You know what? I brought it up last week during the picks. They've been a different team since their Week 9 bye. If anything, they look improving their 12th in overall efficiency since their Week 9 bye, which includes second in rushing, seventh in defense. Defense, also speaking of defense, TJ Watt's been back there. It's definitely helped them too since coming back. And Tyler Huntley can play. One thing we saw it last year when Lamar went down for a few weeks. Huntley can play. Now, obviously, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he can at least be a solid backup. But can the Ravens' offensive line play, and can their wide receivers get open? That's the question mark. Because Lamar Jackson, even while he was out there, was struggling to cover up the team's holes. And while I think Najee Harris is going to get shut down by this Baltimore defense, Kenny Pickett's got good options to throw to, and I think he's going to have another good game in this one. So I'm staying on the Steelers train here, and I'm going to take them to win and cover at Aqua Shore Stadium. Hank?
I am going to go with the Ravens because I have a funny feeling Tyler Huntley is going to find a way to help Baltimore get this one. I think maybe to stir the pot is why I'm also picking the Ravens here with regard to the quarterback situation in Baltimore.
I think he's trying to be the lone wolf here. But Nick Fodera, you go for it.
Look. People, stop trying to make Kenny Pickett a thing. It's pretty obvious that he's not going to be the answer. He's not even the answer to the question, who is Kenny Pickett? That is not even the answer. That is not even the answer to Kenny Pickett, okay? So no. I'm not taking the Steelers as a favorite. No. I'm going upset special.
Nick and Hank going upset.
I like it. So that's what we go with down there in Pittsburgh. Nick Fodera, it's Andrew Catalon, James Lofton, and Amanda Renner on the NFL on CBS. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Tennessee Titans, and the Titans are laying 4 points at home.
So, how is it that I should classify this crap extravaganza? Hey, want to see me break the land speed record for making a pick?
Go for it.
Yes.
Titans.
There you go. Hank, I know you've been on the Jacksonville train pretty much the entire season. What do you think about them here?
And you know what? I'm going to go upset special.
Oh!
Right.
Okay.
Wait, isn't Trevor Lawrence out?
So,
yeah, but you know what?
He hasn't
Titans
practiced
are
the last
still
2
a flawed
days.
first place team. I have a funny feeling they're going to lose this one.
I don't
They
know.
did it. Wait a minute. They just fired their GM, so.
And while the timing may be weird, is it really that much of a surprise?
No.
Yeah, maybe the connection you were talking about a few picks ago with the from Jalen Hurts to AJ Brown. Maybe they saw too much of that. But so Hank's taking the Titans. I'm sorry, he's taking the Jaguars upset special. I just wonder if the John Robinson firing is going to have an effect on the Titans, but I don't think it is because it seems like they've been playing like underdogs all season. I wasn't high on them to start the year, but I think that also speaks to how great of a coach that Mike Vrabel is. And Jacksonville's defense has not been playing well the last couple of weeks. They just came off a 40-burger against the Lions. So I don't think it's going to happen here. And this offensive line for the Titans, I think, is going to have a welcome sight here because the Jaguars dumped an incredible amount of free agent dollars and draft picks into one of the worst pass defenses. So I think Ryan Tannehill is going to have a good game, and I don't think it matters if Trevor Lawrence plays or not. The tricky thing is that they're laying over a field goal, so maybe if Lawrence was playing, maybe it would be closer, but I don't think it matters here. I think Tennessee wins and covers down there in Tennessee. Nick Morgasen.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence doesn't play. This is not a competitive game whatsoever. Sorry. Trevor Lawrence is either leading this team on the field or the team doesn't go anywhere. The Titans have kind of been, again, kind of those roller coaster. I know they're winning, but they're winning in very creative ways, to say the least. And they only have one weapon on the field that's really putting yardage for them all game.
My namesake.
Yes. So, yeah, as long as Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, I'm taking the money.
All right, Tom.
All right, yeah. Ryan Tannehill is a very quiet and sneaky pick for, a stud or a must start, say, in your fantasy leagues or in your pools. Derrick Henry is obviously going to be Derrick Henry. And I know the Titans are, as kind of Nick Morgasen was going on, they're a very meh kind of team. They're 7-5, but you know what? I mean, this is a divisional game. The divisional games can be kind of weird, but I mean, 4-8-1, 4-8, like the Jaguars are, and then the Texans, which another story for another time with the Houston Texans. But considering that Trevor Lawrence is questionable, hasn't practiced all week, I am a little concerned on that front. And if he doesn't play, I am a little concerned on how that offense is going to look without him there. I'm going to take the safe bet. I'm going to say take the money.
There we go. Tom, we finished with you, and now we'll start with you. It's Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn on CBS. Your Denver Broncos are getting 9 points at Empire Field at Mile High, taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
I feel a little sick that you said your Denver Broncos.
That's right, your Denver Broncos, Tom.
It's my Denver Broncos only because I have the ability to do this out
That's
here.
right. That's why your Denver Broncos.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Don't even get the music out. I have a little monstrosity that I created.
Oh no.
Country, Broncos country, let's rock. Broncos country, Broncos country, Broncos country, let's rock.
This is why we have everybody here together.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry up there doing Gangnam Style.
Oh God.
Because, gentlemen, this is what you get. I mean, think about this, guys. The NFL is actually taking Patrick Mahomes off of national television.
Well, wait a minute.
To ensure what?
Let me ask one thing. Would you rather not see the Broncos or would you rather see the Chiefs?
No, that's my point. The NFL would always usually push for, say, a Patrick Mahomes or in recent times a Justin Herbert, but they actually, the Broncos, you have to be so bad for the NFL to say, no, we're not even going to give Patrick Mahomes the national spotlight. You have to be that bad. You have to really have had one of the worst seasons. I mean, you have been absolutely fleeced, it seems like, by the Seahawks, who now have the number 3 pick currently. Your team just has nothing except Russell Wilson, and if you release Russell Wilson, you get the mega cap hit of mega dead cap hits over the next couple of seasons. I'm sorry. This is a joke. This is why I was considering making this my other lock. But like you said, Nick Morgasen, this is too easy. Even with 9 points, even with the Chiefs on the road, take the goddamn money.
So I'll make this quick. And since we do have a crossover, I will put a lock on this game. Patrick Mahomes coming off a loss against a team that he's historically owned. Give me the Chiefs to win and cover. And if I was on empty the bench, this would be my lock for this week.
This game is so obvious. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, are we really talking about the Broncos in the same breath?
It feels like it just should be a disqualification for a lock.
Let's put it this way.
Think about it this way. Oh, I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, let's put it this way. I'm willing to put a year's worth of Subway on it.
Also, this is the highest scoring team in the league facing the lowest scoring team in the league. So
I mean, just not to add insult to injury, but
oh, brother, this guy stinks.
So that's what I think of Russell Wilson.
What guy?
I think we should just leave that up there for the rest of this pick. Nick Fodera.
No.
Is there a way that, in the same way you created that, you could stitch my voice together saying, I'm not picking the Broncos, take the money? Well, you know what? I just said it, so now make
there
that.
There you go. And also remember the Nick Fodera rule. No more picking the Broncos for the rest of the season, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
I beat him to it, though, so you're allowed to change it.
I'm sticking to my principles for once.
Oh, actually, hang on. We forgot. I forgot because I was in charge. But a major playoff scenario here, gentlemen. The Minnesota is not the only team that can clinch a division this week. With how shaky the rest of the AFC West has been as of late, if Kansas City wins this game and the Chargers lose their game, which we're about to talk about in just a couple of picks, Kansas City is the AFC West champion again.
They're gonna win. They're gonna win. It's just a matter of what the Chargers do.
It's gonna be. It's like what we said with the Vikings. They're going to win. It's just a matter of is it week 14 or not.
Yeah.
Hank, what do you think?
What do I think? Broncos country, let's ride. Upset special. No, I'm kidding. Of course I'm picking Chiefs.
See, he it looked like he was waiting to stop. See, now the only way I think the Broncos can actually cover this is if they do slow this game down, but I just don't know how they're going to be able to do that in this situation. I mean, if they can slow the pace of play down on both sides, that would maybe keep the game lower scoring and maybe they cover. But again, I just don't see it with the way they score. And again, Patrick Mahomes coming off of a loss. I mean, that's another factor here too. So a clean sweep in Denver. Hank, it's an Adam Amin, Mark Schlereth, Christina Pink special on Fox. It is the Carolina Panthers off their bye traveling to Seattle to take on Geno Smith's Seattle Seahawks. And the Seahawks, the 12th man field, they are laying 4.5 at home.
Panthers somehow still have a chance?
Yeah.
They do, yeah.
Well, I don't know how much of a chance they'll have anymore. I have the Seahawks winning.
Wow. That's as quick as it gets.
Simple and to the point. I like it.
Yep.
Nick Morgasen, I'll go to you.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought this whole year, and the guys can back me up, I've said this on Empty the Bench too. Did anyone have Geno Smith on their bingo card for like comeback player of the year?
Nope.
I had him on my Trivial Pursuit card. I don't want to tell you what the category was.
Yeah, this is very easy. Take the money.
Tom?
I went on a whole rant before, so this time I'll make it very simple. Seahawks. I don't even need to say anything.
All right, Nick Fodera.
Take the money.
Take the money.
Boy, I'll tell you, I guess I'm going to be the lone wolf this week because this was actually the game I think I struggled with the most this week. But this is a game that has trends, and I think something has to give. You know, Panthers are winless on the road. Seahawks are 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 games. And Carolina, you know, very quietly, last 3 weeks have given up just 38 points on defense. Seattle's defense, 5th worst in the NFL. Laying 4.5, I think it's too many. I think Seattle could win this. But I'm grabbing the points with Carolina in this spot to make it a closer game.
Wait, what? Really?
Yes. Well, again, Seahawks have not covered in the last 3. Have not covered against the spread. Carolina's been playing better the last couple of weeks. I don't think they're going to win. I think they make it very, very close, though. And maybe they do win. You know what? Sam Darnold.
I hope so. I hope they do, because
Well, for our Giants' sake, yeah, you got to hope the Carolina Panthers win this game outright. I don't know if they have the ability to do that, but I think they have the ability to keep it close, and that's when I'm going to roll it in this spot.
Or Johnny.
What's that?
I was going to say, actually, Johnny, you have to hope that the Seahawks win and the 49ers lose so much with the 49ers losing Jimmy G that the Seahawks get the NFC West title rather than a wild card.
Well, Tom, speaking of that, it's a Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olsen, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi special on Fox. Those 49ers with Mr. Irrelevant turned relevant Brock Purdy take on Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the 49ers, Tom, I'll start with you. They're laying 3.5 at home.
Wait, the 49ers or the Buccaneers?
49ers are 3.5 point favorites.
Oh, did I screw that up? Oh, there we go. I'm back with my comical errors again.
Blooper.
Oopsie.
That's one for the blooper reel.
It's all good.
All right, so the 49ers are the 3.5 point favorite here. And I mean, they actually have the offense that can really go. I mean, granted, the one thing they have to do is do the one thing that the Saints made a major mistake of, and that is leaving enough time for Tom Brady to make his usual comeback, as he did. It's going to be a little tough with Jimmy G now out. So I question how Brock Purdy is going to do with the usual connections to Deebo Samuel or to Brandon Ayuk. And honestly, you could say more to Brandon Ayuk because Brandon Ayuk has had, I'd say, just as good, if not even a better year than Deebo Samuel. It's been a little bit of a down year for Samuel as compared to last year. And I wonder if with Brock Purdy there, if they're going to depend on CMC. And I think Elijah, if I'm not mistaken, Elijah Mitchell got banged up again. So
yes,
there's no splitting at this point. They could be depending on CMC in this matchup, like the Giants depend on Saquon Barkley. The difference is, I think the Buccaneers play a little weak, and we even saw that against the Saints. That honestly, I still think there is enough for me to go against to pick the 49ers. Now, whether I pick 4 against the spread, I mean, that's a tougher choice. I think the 3.5 is fine. I'll say take the money on this one.
I'll make this quick here. Brock Purdy meet Todd Bowles. It's a challenge. This is not a good match. It's a challenging matchup for the 49ers offense. And this is an offense that was streaky even with Jimmy Garoppolo behind center. That hook helps. I'm taking Tampa plus the points.
Wow.
Damn it, Johnny, beat me to it. I was just about to say, watch out for that hook. Give him the Bucks.
Nick?
I'm going to take the Bucks as well because, honestly, Brock Purdy ain't going to be lighting up the scoreboard. You can't just hand it off to Christian McCaffrey and then just pray for good things to happen.
Wait a minute. So they can't. Wait. So they can't do what Tennessee does?
No, only Tennessee can do what Tennessee does, which is flame out of the playoffs.
I mean, they've done a pretty good job of it being in first place. I mean, but I don't know. I'm stuck. I mean, you're right. Mr. Irrelevant is Mr. Irrelevant. That's a tough position to be in as a quarterback.
Now he's very relevant.
Well, now he's very relevant, but for the wrong reasons. But I don't know. Like you said, Debo's had a down year. CMC's been great, but it's tough when you don't have a quarterback that can throw the football. Then they're going to be playing. They're going to stack the box against CMC.
Honestly, guys, you're trying to convince me. I might not take that spread now.
Well, I'm taking the Bucks at an upset.
Yeah, so. I'll make the edit. I'll still stick with the 49ers. I won't flip there, but I'll say no cover. Oh,
interesting. Okay.
That hook's a big deal, so that's what we're going to roll with.
You're right. That it is. It's too big of a deal. You're right. Now hearing you guys say it, I don't like that hook anymore. No cover.
There you go. Nick Morgasen, it's Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark on Sunday Night Football on NBC as the Miami Dolphins take on the Los Angeles Chargers. And it's the Dolphins who are 3.5-point favorites at SoFi Stadium.
Oh, I love Tua so much. I don't know why I'm saying that since he's in my own division and we're getting destroyed by them division-wise. But the Chargers have been kind of a concern to me a little bit the last couple of weeks. I don't know what it is. Their coach, which everyone has been on public record with, I don't know. Tua is when he's in, they win. Aren't they undefeated with him started or no?
No. They lost last week.
Or were they 8-1? All right, so they're 8-1. So that's still an incredible record. Every game he finishes, they for the most part win. What? What are you getting at? Oh, I didn't even realize I did that. Anyway. Yeah, take the money. I'm taking the cover on this one.
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, kind of going off what Nick said. I mean, the Chargers and Nick Morgasen and I have been on the Justin Herbert trade since he basically arrived in the NFL. We had a lot more questions about Tua than we did about Herbert. Kind of convenient that we're talking about two guys that were right next to each other, drafted right next to each other in the 2020 draft.
Now it's the reverse.
Right. But it's not Herbert's fault. It's not Herbert's fault. It's not Austin Eckler's fault. I mean, do you want to point to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams with their injuries?
They're always hurt.
But I don't know. But even when they're healthy, I don't know if this offense is as productive as it could be. You know, could it be as explosive as the Dolphins? Maybe not, but get to a certain level, you know, with their play calling on the offense. I don't like it. So I say take the money on this one. And yeah, Chiefs clinch the division this week.
Wow.
I'm going to go with Miami. I think Tua bounces back. You knew they were bound to have a bad week. Give me the Dolphins.
Nick?
So call me Mr. Tank Engine. So I'm jumping on board the Tua train. Shoot you!
And I'll close it out by saying this. Give me the team with the better coach, the better quarterback, and the better overall talent. That is Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and the Miami Dolphins to win and cover on Sunday Night Football. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salter special on Monday Night Football on ESPN. It is the New England Patriots and Arizona Cardinals, and it's the Patriots who are a 2-point road favorite, Nick Fodera.
I am going to take the I'll take the Patriots because nothing I've seen from the Cardinals has impressed me. The Patriots aren't the Patriots, but you know what? Not tonight. They won't be. So I'll take the money.
Just remember, Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
Since you brought it up, I'll bring this up.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, this is not even a discussion. Even though Mac Jones has looked like a complete dumpster fire and he's been hurt constantly, you can't pick against him in this matchup against the Cardinals. Cardinals are one of the worst teams in the NFL. Take the money.
Tom?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, Patriots are a very mixed bag when it comes to, it seems like the Cardinals on paper should have the better talent, should be the better team, but it just doesn't seem that way. And we talk about how the NFC East is very competitive. The AFC East, don't sleep on either. That's a very competitive division, one of the best in football as well. And right now, it's all signs point to the Patriots being the better team. So give me the Pats. I'm taking the money.
Hank?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the money too. Give me the Pats.
So this is a tricky one for New England here because their defense struggles against mobile quarterbacks like Kyler Murray, but then their defense also does great against bad quarterbacks like Kyler Murray. So what's going to give out here? Well, just give me the team with the better coach. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots over the Cardinals. That's what we're going to go with. And only laying 2 points against Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals, good enough. Clean sweep all the way around. Pats win and cover to wrap up Week 14. Well, this was a lot of fun, and I'll tell you what, folks, the way things are looking, we'll probably be doing this a few more times. So keep it locked in here every week for that. And, of course, Hank and I will be back on Tuesday for episode 36, the season finale, the 2022 finale of Game On. And, of course, you can catch Nick, Tom, and Nick over on Empty the Bench Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. Of course, Nick and Nick on Beyond the Bench. And Tom, of course, on the MMA Outsiders. They just had a great episode this past week. Go check that out as well.
Thank you.
So,
and actually, should note, the day after you guys have your season finale, Empty the Bench has our season finale.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's going to be this upcoming Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So go check that out. Of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ETB Network. Subscribe, ring that notification bell so you know when all of our content is going to be coming out there, including our Monty Moments, which are still going to be coming out as well. So for Nick Morgasen, Tom Albano, Nick Fodera, and Hank Indictor, and I'm Johnny Montalbano. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.